Another golden morning for our golden girls and for the golden people of Australia here on your Friday morning. Welcome back to the morning after Paris. Pezza, as I saw 4 of our finest female athletes, our finest swimmers, lift their arms up into the air. I was thinking, you know what? The latissimus dorsis of these female athletes are carrying the nation's hopes and dreams at the moment. Any danger of a bloke doing a chin-up at the gym, a lap pull-down, a bent-over row, if you will, and I already know that you will. Australian women lifting arms in the air and exposing some of the finest laps and lats you've ever seen. Pezza, gold for Australia again. Will you ever get sick of it?
Well, Molly O'Callaghan's getting sick of it. She gave her medal to Jamie Perkins. She's got too many. You know what I'm saying? So it's the brand of gold overnight, he goes, wasn't just, the crushing dominance of Australia over China and the USA in the pool, but it was also the opportunity for the women to start giving golds away to training partners and to heat swimmers, etc. Now, Cam McAvoy, if he gets gold overnight, he won't be giving it to any male because it's a fucking scarce commodity. It's a scarce commodity, but it's gold nonetheless in the pool for the event that we woke up to watch.
Muhammad Ali gave his gold medal to a lake once.
Okay.
Threw it in the lake there, didn't he?
Should we, he goes, hand over to the viewers or to the listeners?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and beforehand, this show is brought to you by Smith Optics. Use the code FAST for 25% off your order at smithopticsaustralia.com. But let's get a sense, let's get a temperature check. Let's check the pulse of the nation this morning on your Friday.
Sorry, this is that dramatic leading music as well that just creates about 8
sort
seconds of dead air, which is
creates a bit of mood.
Yeah,
that's good.
Is there anything safer than seeing the girls out in front in the 4x2 and Thorpe's just reminding you, Arnie's still to come. Yeah. You know, Arnie's bringing this home.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The ultimate expression of Aussie safety, gold in the 4x2, and then a shot of the original Golden Girl Dawn in the stands embracing a mining magnate, Gina.
Another one. Carry on.
Ooh, won another gold medal in the pool, did we? Just you bloody wait till the track and field starts. Bosh.
Oh, Chris Bosh.
British.
Yeah, babe, yeah, we won. But just a heap. Yeah, like I said, finals on in the morning. Yeah.
Just watched a video on YouTube of Ledecky swimming with chocolate milk on her head.
Yeah.
Stingers rhymes with pingers.
Men's coxless 4 last place behind Romania. Sorry, but get off my screen and put Jess Fox back on.
Yeah. Coxless 4.
Watching this here Olympic 20k walking race. Tell you what, seeing a bit of jogging. We'll have a look at our bronze though.
Yep, that's the vibe.
Just keep politics out of sport, lads. 400 games. Scott Pendlebury.
And that's the vibe from overnight.
Yeah.
Here goes a little bit of a summary of what happened.
Hey,
how
good
the
news.
nation's feeling.
Good news, Pezza. Shane the Hammer Healer's on the show, as is our friend, your friend, Australia's friend, Hewy is also on the show, returning for another stint of just general vibe watch.
Hewy's vibe watch.
Yeah. It's,
vibe check.
Vibe check.
If you will.
Checking the vibe of the Olympics.
And by popular demand, it has to be said.
Yeah.
A lot of praise for Hewy's first spot. But let's cover what happened overnight first with the Aussies. Here goes.
Okay.
4x200 free.
Yeah.
I guess the first, Australia was $1 for this or whatever the fuck it is, not a gambling man, etc. But gives you a little sense of where things are at. Just bulk pace in the pool. We're expecting the gold would have been a boil over deluxe had it not been the case. But I still like that at the first turn after 50 metres, Lani Pallister kicked it off. I think
Molly O kicked it off.
Molly O kicked it off.
Yeah.
Sorry, pardon me. And thank you, boys. Actually. Matt Thompson was just like, world record, anyone? Just started talking world records. There's been one so far at this game. So any danger of the world record?
All right, I'm actually glad it didn't break the world record because, as we know, it's actually impossible to do it in this pool.
Just about.
Yeah. No, it is.
Okay. Someone did it, but okay. Red hot. Red hot confidence. I felt during the race that there was a period there, probably more when Throssell was in the drink.
Yeah.
Who swam
Throssell in
well.
the drink?
But when Throssell was in the drink.
When Throssell's in the drink.
Yeah, well.
What am I supposed to do?
China and the US were always hunting. Like it was a hunted kind of paradox or paradigm for this particular race. But as our speak pipe friend said, like Thorpe was just there cooing to us, going like, Arnie's to come.
Yeah,
just
that's right.
just relax.
Satisfying.
I guess the most competitive moment was when the US matched up Katie Ledecky to Throssell, who was in the drink, as the third racer. Yeah. I presume that was like a T20 matchup style, like trying to match up, the bowler against the batter there.
Can we get our last swimmer into the drink before our last swimmer?
Ledecky v Throssell put a bit of Syriaco Mesher on them.
Yeah. And when Throssell's in the drink, you just see experience.
And Throssell says after the race, she goes like, I was matched up with Ledecky. I just thought classic.
But also no problem.
I'm just thinking with the US, it's like, mate, spin it how you like. You're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, send in your best,
good,
or whatever. But we had Arnie to come, and it's three body lengths.
Essentially, got Bradman coming in last. What are you supposed to do?
It didn't even threaten to become an Aussie Spirit come over the top victory from Arnie. I wouldn't have minded it. I wouldn't have minded giving him a body length, just to watch Arnie come over the top. At the end, but as it turns out, Throssell held her lead. Throssell in the drink, holding the lead against Ledecky, and Arnie just put 3 body lengths on the next one.
Throssell in the drink, unbeatable.
Right. And so, these swimmers, he goes, are. What other superlatives remain for these women in the drink? They. As you pointed out, they're complete specimens, and they've actually figured out how to get the correct shot of the women, which is the upward shot that reveals, as you say, the latissimus dorsi, the inverted pyramid.
It's an inverted pyramid, as with Pep Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola had it right.
Sort of a false nine.
The hips and all, and the women also have the verbiage as well. Yeah, right. So. Once again, they know exactly what to say post-race for that Uncle Toby's gig.
Yep.
As is their right, as is their want.
Yes.
And there was a little tidbit that emerged during the interviews where Ariane Titmus kind of hinted at Molly O'Callaghan standing over her before the final leg, barking at her, essentially. And Ariane just said, like, she just, spoke in some Aussie slang and you can work it out. And if you look at the footage of it, which we won't do because we don't hold the rights, we didn't pay billions for it.
Yeah.
Molly is really revving up Ariane Titmus.
Is she roaring at her?
She's roaring at her, and I'm inviting the listeners, the viewers today, to submit to boys actually what Molly O might have been saying.
Okay.
Because it wasn't repeatable on air, but I wouldn't mind knowing. And that's the other side of these swimmers, these killers.
Yeah.
That, Molly O's just going into Ariane, to Arnie, just going like, you fucking swim. I want to know.
Do you remember when I beat you? Do you remember when I beat you 2 days ago?
That's right. So here's a chance to reclaim gold that I have, and I'm going to give mine away, by the way.
Always nice to hear from the parents as well. There's Team Titmus, there's Team McEwen. I'm not sure if there's a Team McKeon, but I'm sure there will be. And it's always nice to just, hear.
What about the team she's going to make with Cody Simpson, though? Fuck me. And the
Jesus Christ. Talk about the lats on that.
And the pipes, and I'm referring to his vocal cords.
Of course you are, yeah. But always nice to hear from these sort of, eccentric parents that are wearing, scorn themselves in green and gold colours.
Scorn themselves. That's right. And ensconce themselves
in
green and gold. It is green and gold day around the nation, by the way.
Sort of these eccentric types.
I work for Bell Shakespeare.
And it just gives you another element to be proud of them, even though you don't know their names or where they're from, what their background is.
Yep.
Sort of some tech billionaire stuff, to fund these athletes of a sport that has no money in it. But, they can win a couple of races, so they don't have to get a job.
Queen Mary, poolside, he goes. Did you catch that?
Mate, what about all these wonderful women? Queen Mary, Dawn Fraser, Gina Reinhart.
Mate, the
big three.
The big three, as we call them.
Talk about your Mount Rushmore. Reinhart,
Fraser. Yeah. Mary. I don't know if Mary's happy with that, if I'm honest. For various reasons, but the Mount Rushmore of Australian women, who are getting behind the sex that is whose shoulders hurt because of the extent to which they're carrying our nation.
Yeah, their backs are so big.
And they need be. Queen Mary poolside is having a wonderful chat to Arnie Titmus. You're thinking, how good is this?
That's
Queen
nice.
Mary looking regal because she actually is.
She is the queen.
That's not a metaphor.
Different to the ship, the Queen Mary. That's
And
she
different
wasn't
to the
there.
slip-in. You said ship. There's a ship-in down at Circular
There
Quay.
was a
The
ship-in.
slip-in is where she met Freddie.
Yeah.
At the Sydney 2000 Games. So there is a lovely tie-in there, just about. Arnie speaking to Queen Mary. Molly O comes over next. Now, this is my own interpretation. She doesn't know who Queen Mary is from a bar of soap.
No.
Because the slip-in incident with Frederick happened before Molly O was born.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
You needed to be born to be aware of that. So Molly O just gives it a wave like, okay, great to see a fan, a well-dressed fan, and a well-kept fan nonetheless, before she turns around and realises she's just snubbed royalty.
Yes.
Okay, and they have a lovely chat. But anyway, this is the sort of stuff you come here for. It's alpha stuff.
Yeah.
Molly O'Callaghan, she's alpha.
Yeah.
We're just learning this, as you would be.
It's killer behind the ice.
It's a killer behind the eyes. You see in the ice. So the other thing to say about this race is, although Australia was $1 and you could bet your house on it if you own one.
Different to the ship in or the slip in.
Thank you. Australia hasn't won this race since Athens. Is that right? You could go. Yeah, it goes back to Athens, I believe. They were bronze in Tokyo, and Arnie felt she let the nation down.
Yeah, China won it last time. USA.
I don't know who won it, but
I thought they might have won it. Oh, I don't know.
We were bronze in Tokyo. No, I mean it's fair to say it's a drought.
Yeah.
So it was a drought. It was a drought-laden victory, even though we were very short odds to win. I'm talking about odds, and I hate myself, but that's the narrative over this particular gold. There's too much gold to think about now with the pool.
In terms of Australian time zones and safety, like this was one of the most satisfying races, knowing that Australia qualified ahead of Hungary. I think it might have been like 6.5 seconds ahead of their time in the heats, thanks to Shayna Jack and who else swam?
Jamie Perkins.
Jamie Perkins, thank you. Perko. Kieran's missus. And so just to wake up at 10 to 6 in the morning, it's not too early.
Yeah, Eastern Standard.
Yeah.
And then, Gina wouldn't see it that way.
And then you're locking in a gold medal, knowing that the Golden Girls are going to get the business done.
It was as much of a lock as you could get, really. Yeah. And I enjoy that. I mean, I grew up in the era, as did you, say with the cricketers, where like there was no close victories. It was just foot on throat stuff. Yeah, 98% of the time.
And people got bored of that after a while. I'm not bored in any way.
I'm not bored
8
of gold
medals.
I'm not tired of winning.
Every morning we've woken up to gold. Yeah, and it was a good day outside of the pool as well.
That's right. And shall we get in? Oh, look, sorry, just before we get into that, just putting this out there, and I believe I'd be at this show morning after Paris is the first one calling for this. And we've done it with the cricketers before, and it's been a long time since this has happened. Okay. But is it time to start thinking about a ticker tape parade again? Even just for the women.
When did they last have one? They wouldn't have had one for Tokyo.
Because they prefer the more sort of, I guess, security threat proof Fed Square situation. But I would have thought I don't want to get into what you're more likely to be threatened security-wise.
And if there's any slanted roofs knocking about.
Well, exactly. I would have thought you're more of a sitting target, if you're at Fed Square. But then again, people have struggled in cars before as well, vis-a-vis being the subject of threats. It's taken a turn, but I'm just saying that they deserve a ticker tape parade.
When was the last ticker tape parade?
Yeah.
Let us know.
gmail.com. So, and to define that, there has to be a moving vehicle. There has to be cordoned off streets, and there has to be confetti-esque and streamer-esque
and a
materials.
book depository.
No, that was JFK at Dealey Plaza. That wasn't a ticker tape parade. What JFK? When JFK rounded the bend into Dealey Plaza,
I thought he'd just come back from Tokyo '64.
No. And because it was earlier than
before
that. Yeah, it happened before. So, but he thought he might have just emerged from the 1960 Olympics.
He'd come back from the drink.
In 1960, the Olympics was held in Brisbane.
Yeah, there was the Brisbane Olympics.
Helsinki. Yeah.
No, that was 50. Helsinki was 52.
Okay.
60 was Rome.
Oh, okay, not bad. Correct. He goes. Correct. Rome. Yeah, he's just come back from Rome anyway, and then Harvey Oswald got him, if you believe the official account.
Yeah.
Anyway, ticker tape parade.
He was on the Russian shooting team. Let's get off this.
Let's move off this. Aussies elsewhere. He goes overnight. A very successful night for Australia. A lot of our preliminary events and qualifying events, but we've been dusting some opposition.
Yes.
But before we get to that, Jemima Montag, he goes wins bronze in the 20K. Okay, 20K.
From the hills.
Okay, from 20K. I don't know what that is. 20K walk. Australia's first medal in this event in 20 years since Jane Saville.
Yep.
Who won bronze in Athens.
Yes.
And nothing in Sydney, but and it's Australia's first medal in the athletics, and we'll take it.
Oh, we'll take it.
It's the most taken medal that will
Pezza,
have this
I
Olympics
don't know
probably.
if the word Olympic has done more for a sport than walking. Because, like, when you're looking at people lining the streets to see these athletes power walk through the streets, you're thinking, what on earth am I watching? But it's an Olympic event, and so it has this prestige element to it. So once the word Olympic is attached to anything, you're thinking, this matters. This is important. But the way they, like, lock their knees and move their hips, I would be I'd be getting out of bed in installments for 3 weeks.
Yes.
The next day, walking like that. It's tough to watch.
Yeah, and
also
I think
hypnotic.
That's right. For me, like, most people will say that race walk feels like an oxymoron of a word.
Yeah.
Most people will say that.
Yeah.
Or otherwise I'll just be like, it's walking.
Yeah.
What are we doing? But when you do, as you say, like when you hypnotically, mesmerically lock into the way the hips move, there's a fluidity to it that won't quit. I've always said that. Like the way you get those hips to move, I bet they're great dancers when they recover from the soreness of like just endless hip thrusting. Yeah.
You know, we see NBA players come off and they tape ice to their knees.
Yeah.
They do that with their hips.
Yeah,
Just
right.
absolute ice buckets.
Shakira, great walker.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, anyway, Jemima Montag, just to trivialise her win in the bronze in the 20K walk. I want to move to BMX, if that's okay.
Yeah,
He
please.
goes, Saya Sakakibara through to the semis in the BMX.
Okay.
She was dominant in this race as well. If you watch it, she got the inside lane 1, and it's just 35 seconds of pure pace jumping, and the way they move around the bends is golden. You know,
I only saw highlights of it. I didn't see enough of it. But is she
highlights of a 35-second race?
No, sorry.
Where's the mini of this?
Sorry. I caught the second half. Yeah. No, I meant of the event itself. But is she good? Is she is she medal good?
And subject of, I think, to date, the most emotional footage on Channel 9 for her story of getting to the Olympics and where she's at. So she's a champion racer, but her story, as she's come back from major injuries, traumatic injuries, but the story's narrated by her brother Kai, who too was a champion BMX rider who did suffer
from Tokyo,
traumatic brain injury and struggles with the right side of his body now.
Yes.
And he narrates her story, and I get like tingles thinking about it. It's an unbelievable Olympic story, and for that reason, we're further behind Saya than more we would have been.
If my memory serves me correctly, she crashed out in Tokyo when she was a medal hope, and I think she actually goes into this as one of the. I was reading about her story beforehand. Yeah, I think. So to answer my own question, I think she's quite good. Yeah, as in like gold good. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Gold good. And actually, in her interview afterwards, like she noted that she'd been sick as well, and she's like panting like almost breathlessly in her interview, which again is narrative building. She's been sick in the lead up to it, like Alani Pallister style COVID isolation. I'm not saying Saya has COVID, but I wouldn't make that allegation. But again, building a nice narrative for a potential gold. It's looking good for gold there.
Perfect.
I actually lock it in.
Yep.
Isaac Kennedy's through too in the men, didn't see any of it. Oh, yeah, and shout out Lauren Reynolds, who's also in that final, in the semi, I should say, qualified 9th for that. Now, I want to propose to you, he goes, again, 2 of the greatest words in Olympics parlance.
Okay.
Guaranteed medal. Guaranteed medal for Gray Morris, who's through to the medal race of the windsurfing. He goes.
Yep.
He's a guaranteed. He cannot leave the event without a medal.
We're good. We are so good in the drink, whether it be a puddle or an ocean.
Yeah, we fucking love the drink.
We love the drink.
We're good. Now,
and what event is this? Sorry, windsurfing.
Yeah, it's windsurfing. So the stocky 20-year-old Gray Morris, he's obviously windsurfed. He's the lights out, which is. Lights and water, probably not the ideal combination, literally and metaphorically. But he is interviewed after his race, I guess, and boys actually, and they say, "How are you going to prepare for your guaranteed medal?" And he just says, "Big dinner, good dessert, great sleep."
Yeah.
So that's the laconic building of narrative.
Yep.
Being curt, dismissive. Not so much dismissive, but just like where less is more.
My understanding of sort of water sports generally is that these athletes, these people that participate in such, that they're men and women of boat shoes, chinos, and a pressed collared shirt.
Right.
And so I'd be looking at some fine dining. I mean, if he's just,
I'm not sure if that's.
It sounds like he's smashing a feed.
I'm not. Yeah, it's like a couple of grade cricketers might go to the Merton for the the $15 schnitzel the night before,
and
a
you
game.
get a domestic beer for $5.
Exactly. Back in 2003, which is the only references we have.
Yeah. It's $12.50 now.
That's right. Yeah, for the SCUI. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's less fine dining and more smashing a feed, as you say, for Graham Morrison in his guaranteed medal. And obviously, now that one's guaranteed, I'm getting greedy.
Well, because it'd be sad if he goes over silver.
That's right. Yeah, well, he loses. Yeah. Okay, speaking of the drink, so more drink stuff.
Yeah.
Sharks are water polo sharks.
Yeah.
Chess for days.
Love the drink.
They down hometown France 9-8.
Yeah, it was a good game.
And I hear it was a raucous French crowd.
Yep.
Now, I'm only quoting Carlos here.
Yes.
On 9, saying that the Aussies in the crowd absolutely gave it to the French.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you love
and he also
hearing
said,
that?
I don't mind saying this. So he said, I don't mind saying this, but we actually gave it to him. He might have been in the crowd.
Who hears Karl Stefanovic saying they absolutely gave it to the French, and someone's sitting there at home going, he wouldn't have liked saying that. So I'm glad we got that qualified. I don't think Carlos would have liked saying that. It is a great prelude, though, isn't it? And I don't resile. It's the resile idea. I don't mind saying this.
Yeah.
We absolutely gave it to these coats.
So Nick Porter is the goalkeeper for the Sharks. Now he is a guy that gets up and about.
Does he?
Just treading water, generally speaking. But
you'd have to.
Every time he makes a save, he fucking gives it to the crowd. Obviously he was playing for the opposition, so it was a hometown crowd.
I see.
He's
sort of under 11s make up the numbers. Have you guys need a hand?
I didn't say he was batting for.
Yeah.
No, he every time he makes a save, he screams. So he made a penalty save at a clutch moment in this game. I think would have tied the scores with not long left in the fourth quarter. There's also a guy playing up front for the Sharks called Rambo.
Oh, of course there is.
So there's Rambo up front. I've got Nick
the
Porter in
branding
goals.
of this team is so good.
Yeah.
The entire Olympic team.
Sharks.
You got the correct narratives across different different styles of narratives, coming back from sickness, coming back from injury, just being streets ahead, being like a heavy favourite.
Yep.
You're up front, you got a Rambo. Well, we're about to talk to Shane Hammerhill about the Boomers and their brand of Aussie spirit.
Yep.
Fuck, it's intoxicating.
I looked at the table before. I think they're second now in their group. There's still a few games to go, but that game was actually a really big game because France now drop a full win or win of the halfback in the table, so they're dropped right down. So it was a big win.
Because we have knocked over Serbia, the defending gold medalist.
Nick Porter was outstanding in that game, so he's having a great tournament and likes to yell at the crowd every time he makes a save.
Okay. Is it one of those things, having watched every minute of the water polo, he goes, where the keepers keep in the minute? You know, it's just like a last line of defence stuff.
Well, I suppose every time there's a possession, the keeper does play an important role because there's a shot. Okay. The shot gets away.
So we need Nick Porter to continue doing what he's doing.
And I think the way he goes about it by yelling at the crowd, it's very much a once you get to know him sort of situation.
That's
He's a good bloke if he's on your side. Because if I'm looking at a German keeper doing that, I'd be very concerned.
Well, if he is adhering to the stereotype of Olympians in the drink, which is basically boat shoe wearing, chino wearing tertiary students from Sydney University, then there are a lot of once you get to know him people there, say from experience. So Carlos said that Aussies absolutely gave it to the French. Fucking give it to him, Courtney.
Give it
to him. Looking forward.
Can we get Callahan's back in goals for the Sharks? Or the Stingers?
That'd be handy.
Couldn't get pasta. Just get a back in goal, mate.
Chuck the old Jimmy Jack and go, jump. Looking forward to the drink overnight. Coming up, we got Cameron McAvoy in the 53. Bit about him later in boys actually. Cameron Mack in the 53 finals. That's the that's the blue rye band of swimming carnivals. That's the one I want, and I've never had it, and I want 53 because that's blue rye band swimming carnival stuff.
And I learnt from our friend Jean.
Jean.
That he does very little water work, which I think is important for a swimmer.
Yeah, no, he's got an interesting story around that.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't have to do any underwater work on the turn because it's only 53.
In the swimming component of the race,
Thorpe's needs some new verbiage. I like Thorpe, by the way.
Of course we do.
In the commentary, but yeah.
That's actually sacrilegious to not like Thorpe.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
If someone said at a dinner party, ain't thought not for me, get the fuck out of my house. Anyway, so
Cam
McAvoy
53.
just like he's just doing on land stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Patrick Johnson's Australia's fastest sprinter, and he grew up on a boat.
That's right.
So he didn't even get to have a crack at living on land, and he's the quickest on it. Interesting. Kaylin McEwen in the 200 back.
Speaking of backs,
indeed, and
like an avatar.
she might have an IM as well. And Kookaburras, the Kookaburras knock over New Zealand 5-0, Packham. And Hockey Roos 3-3 on the bell versus Argentina.
That was a great game, the Hockey Roos Argentina game. So Argentina up 2-0 to begin with, and then Argentina also make a penalty save. And then at the stroke of 3/4 time, short corner to Australia, they make it 2-2, I think. And then Argentina score a late-ish goal in the fourth quarter, and then again short corner, basically last hit of the stick, if that's a phrase in hockey.
Yeah, that'd be the
which
phrase.
It's not,
hit of the stick.
It's a last hit of the stick. Yeah. Australia scores with both 2 seconds left to make it 3-3. Amazing game.
That's spirit.
So both teams undefeated. Both teams have now broken their perfect records, but both have 3 wins, 1 draw.
Yeah, okay. A couple of other results overnight, but we're trying to keep the show short, and they wouldn't have been good ones, so we're not talking about it. We're going to talk about basketball, but instead of us two bringing our thoughtful and thorough expertise, we just thought we'd speak to Shane the Hammer Heel. We should probably have a shout out to the person and the organisation getting behind this show first, though.
That's right, Pezzo, and that's Smith Optics Australia. You can use the code FAST for 25% off your order at smithopticsaustralia.com. You already know that. You know what? Let's talk about eyewear today.
Okay.
Let's talk about eyewear.
Right.
Because people already know about the protection you get from the lids with the Koroyd and the MIPS, super safe but super light. But today we're talking about, let's talk about sunglasses. Now, you've been wearing the East Banks from time to time.
Yeah.
Molly Pickham's finals.
Molly's missed out in the surfing, but
she's
she'll still
sort
be
of
looking
crashed
good.
out.
She'll be looking good missing out. Look at
You seen that photo from the Brazilian guy that won the was it Brazilian who won the men's surfing?
No, I didn't.
He basically rode a nearly 10-point wave. It was 9.9, and then he exited the wave by doing that in the air.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
it was a fucking sick photo.
Fuck, that'd be a good shot.
Anyway, he's actually got nothing to do with Smith.
Yeah,
but
they might. Yeah, they'll be working on that though. If I know the people at Smith, and I do,
you do actually.
They'll be straight onto that guy whose name is being withheld for privacy reasons.
He's either Spanish or Brazilian.
Yeah.
Again, that's an
I guess so. We're not even. So at this stage, it's a man. Who was in the
those
race.
are your words.
Who was in the? It's not a race. He won the surfing race. That's
before we get to the boxing.
But he had a good photo with his finger up. Welcome to Morning After Paris for all of your Olympic news and information.
It was actually Billy Bowden from an ODI in 2007.
Well, that's not a finger up.
The Chroma Pop technology, Pezza, it's still the most awesome lens technology known to humankind. Smith sports sunglasses have better performance, adjustable nose bridge, easy interchangeable, and you don't look like every other nuffy wearing competitor brands because let's be honest. First of all, they don't look as good, they don't feel as good, you're not as fast in them, and they're just generally not as good.
Others might be able to name like legacy competitor
Couldn't
brands.
name one myself,
but others. Not I either.
Yeah.
But genuinely, to look at these glasses, they have outstripped competitor brands for looking fast, looking sleek, looking athletic, and also
yours in the East Bank
lifestyle
pair. Yeah. Anyway, use the code FAST for 25% off your order at smithopticsaustralia.com. Let's talk to the Hammer, Shane the Hammer Heel.
Well, what about this? One of Australia's greatest basketball products from the NBA, the NBL, and the Boomers, an iconic face of the game. He goes, particularly for children of a certain vintage, aka ours.
Yeah.
Joining us on Morning After Paris, it's Stan Sport expert Shane the Hammer Heel. I don't know if I'm allowed to call you that, but how are you, Hammer?
No, I love it. I go by Hammer and embrace that, and I'm very well always during Olympic time.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Hammer. Look, we're gonna look ahead to the Boomers in a second, but let's start with the Opals. Tough start against Nigeria. They bounced back last night against Canada, 70-65. Look, let's face it, Hammer. The nation is voracious for medals, so there's a lot of people watching this show who want to hear from you right now. How do you see the Opals' chances from a medaling perspective?
Well, I'm not great at the moment. I was a bit concerned when they selected the team. I mean, it's one of the oldest teams we've ever seen. I think they've got 4 players between 36 and 43. And when you have that sort of age, It's old, right? And they were sort of thrown together at the last minute. Their coach, Sandy Brondello, coaches in the WNBA in America. Her and the 7 WNBA players arrived a week before the tournament. So not ideal circumstances. And I think they played like it in that first game, lost to Nigeria, which I don't think any men's or women's teams ever lost to an African nation. So it was a massive surprise. Bounced back, played a little bit better against Canada, but now we've probably got the toughest team in the pool, host nation France, in the next game. And it could get messy because it's going to come down to a countback.
Hammer, when you played in the Olympics, how did you feel that other nations characterise Australian basketball? Because Bez and I were just talking about it this morning. Like, Australia's really got no right to be consistently good in the Olympics, or just in international basketball. We consistently have world-class players, or players that play in the top leagues, And, like, I wonder how other nations, when you played against, your team, when players played against your teams, how did they characterise Australian basketball, do you think?
Well, I think back in the 90s and 2000s, people were shocked that we could be a top 4 team. It's funny, we were fourth and just lost for a medal in 96, and then 2000 made the top 4 again. And they sacked our coach, Barry Barnes, after the tournament. I was playing in Greece at the time, and I go back there, and they're like, Malaka, how is Australia in the top 4? They think we overachieved. We felt like we underachieved. But we're always known as a team that plays hard. Generally, we have good shooting from the perimeter. And tough. We play together. It means so much playing for Australia. So I think we're known as a country that just loves representing Australia, and that's what we always have been.
Oh, I love that. Hammer, let's talk about the Boomers. They got Greece next. Greece have one of the world's best in Giannis. However, they're winless, have questions over their depth. How do you see this one? Where's it going to be won and lost?
Well, I think we win this game. If we go back for the first few games, the first game against Spain was a great game, led by Josh Giddey, and he's a star now and a superstar of the future. He has been absolutely incredible for the Boomers, and then we lost the second game. So we played against Canada. Canada, for the NBA fans, they've just got unbelievable superstars all around the court with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We just weren't good enough in that second half, but I think we'll beat Greece. And, as you said, they don't have a lot of depth. They've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is an amazing player, and we don't really have a natural matchup. So it's going to be a tough matchup for us, but I think we'll win that game, which will get us through to the next round.
And what does that mean for the next round? We'll play against one of the top sides of the other 2 groups. Is that how it work?
Yeah, well, it's they also have 2 of the highest placed 3rd ranked teams. So it'll be interesting. It's not set at the moment exactly who we're going to play, but it's going to be a tougher opponent than what we probably have so far.
And basically just trying to avoid the USA. But the USA will probably play against one of the teams that finish in the 3rd spot, right? So we'll probably avoid the USA. Is that how it would work?
Yeah, you would think so. But I think what's happened too, it's a little bit more of a lottery. So, in the past, sometimes teams have thrown games so they didn't actually have to come up as a matchup against somebody else. So it's a little bit more of a lottery now of who you're going to play. But I really think it's America, Canada, and then I think we're in the mix with Serbia, Germany, and France to win a medal. So I think we're probably one of 4. We've seen we're probably just a little bit below Canada, but we're still capable of beating them on any particular night.
As you said earlier, Hammer, like the Boomers brand is on a very high plane when it comes to Australian sporting spirit. Like, everyone loves what they're about because we sit in the shadow of giants, but we've always got sneaky gun players who love the nation. Paddy Mills flies the flag here. He's the most recognisable Boomer knocking around at the moment. But are there questions over his form? I know he finished 2 of 10 against Canada, 4 turnovers, susceptible to matchup problems at the defensive end, and that's my own analysis. What's the best way to use Paddy down the stretch?
You've nailed it.
Well, I copied your words in your article.
Well, when Paddy's, I thought it sounded familiar. When Paddy's on, he's one of the all-time greats. He can really score the ball. But he's 36 years of age. He shouldn't have to be carrying this team as well. If he's not scoring, then it does make it hard against a team like Canada because they've got superstars that he has to match up against, and defense isn't one of his strengths. So hoping that he can find the bottom of the net a few times in this next game, get some confidence up, and then play a major role moving forward because we're going to need him. We need scorers. We don't have a lot of three-point shooters, and he's probably the Lone Ranger.
Hey Shane, I was watching the women's 3x3 basketball last night. They beat the USA. So they've had 2 wins now against China and the USA, I think. Now I was skeptical about like what 3v3 half court basketball was in the Olympics, but I'm into it. It's very watchable. Now look, I'd imagine you're a purist of the basketball. You know, are you into the 3x3?
Yeah, I really like it. You know, and I think, you know, I talk about it like the cricket. There would be the purists that, you know, only want to watch tests and can't believe this 2020 stuff. I've actually embraced it. It's a huge game around the world, particularly in Europe. There's a new league that's just been announced over the last few days in America for the women's game that's going to be paying 6-figure sums over a 8-week period as well. Oh. It's growing. It's here to stay. And you're right. Our women have done really well. The men didn't qualify. I think Basketball Australia has been way behind on a list. They haven't put enough resources, enough time to be able to build it because we would have been able to send a really, really good men's team, but they really didn't work together with the Boomers, just like the girls didn't work with the Opals. So, but our girls have done well. I think they're up to 3 in a row now. They lost their first game. I watched that game against America as well, and there's some really big-time players that play on that team. Hayley Van Loof, the little blonde player, she's going to be a future superstar. She'll be a first-round pick in the WNBA next year.
Wow. Just really more from a colour perspective, Hammer, like we've seen some great nicknames across Australian cricket. For example, you've got the Don, you've got Tubby, you know, your colleague, and, you know, you have Tugger, for example. But does it get better in basketball than the Slob Wizard for Josh Giddey, sideline out of bounds wizard? Like, I mean, it's one of the great nicknames to say, also slightly disgusting. But what do you make of the Slob Wizard or Slobby for short?
Yeah, no, I can't embrace that nickname. We've got to get better than that. He's going to be one of our all-time greats. We can't be going with that sort of American stuff that they've been able to come up with. Come on, Australians are the greatest at all of giving nicknames.
I was going to say, Hammer, if you ever do have a cricket podcast, you know, you can actually ask Tubby to come on as an expert, or a diving one together. Hammer, thanks so much for joining us on Morning After Paris. It's a dream we didn't realise that we had. We would have during our cricket careers to speak to Shane Hill, but an absolute pleasure. You've been an icon of ours growing up, and we really appreciate your time.
Good on you guys. Good luck. Well done on the show, and check out the Boomers on Stand 9:30 tonight.
Fuck, that was awesome talking to the Hammer. He goes, just a shout out here. Shane Hill is part of Stan Sports Olympics lineup, the only place to watch every event from Paris 2024, ad-free, live and on demand with 4K with exclusive features including international multi-language channels and minis. Go to stan.com.au/Olympics for more info. Let's get on to what the people have been waiting for and that we've held back from indulgently. And I should take my glasses off here, by the way. We're going around the globe, and the way we're going around the globe today, he goes, is with our favourite friend of our Olympic show, Melbourne comedian Tim Hewitt. He's back for his second crack at this. He's decided to come back. We wanted him back. The audience wanted him back deluxe. Actually, a little bit perturbed by how much praise he received. And so Huey's back with Vibe Watch. Welcome back, Huey. What do you got for us?
Absolute pleasure, boys. What a treat. Thank you for having me back. I did come down with a little fever post our last one. I
noted that,
just giddy, sort of just off the energies of the pod, and very, you know, shakes, quivers,
like
little
on the
fever
blocks.
Actually, a bit of bronzitis potentially. But we're back, thank God, we're back. Great to be back pod side. It's a great event to try and remember how many things can be side.
Yes, it's true.
You know, we'll get trackside, ringside, courtside.
Yes.
It's
podside.
Podside.
It's like gates. Anything can be a gate.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Which is a real rush. And it has been a real rush through my sort of fever the last few days, I've just been sort of trying to consume vibes, energies. I've been reading the tarot.
Yes.
Been consulting my sort of various crystals and rocks and going, what's happening out there?
Yeah, because that's Vibe Watch, right?
That is Vibe Watch. Yeah, it's not just watching the Olympics. It's watching like wavelengths and you'll see on Instagram sometimes guys whacking that like sort of a tuning fork.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of that sort of stuff and reading energies. It's sort of actually not about the Olympics at all now.
Yeah, okay.
Just sort of into bad spirits.
Nice.
Sounds like you've been watching SBS.
Yeah, I've been doing
instead of Stan.
Yeah, I've been sort of cleansing my house a lot now.
Have you taken drugs for that?
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
It's performance enhancing sort of stuff. Yeah, that sort of helps really.
And how'd you go in the 100?
Yeah, not bad. Real, just blasted through in my mind palace. Yeah, it was good. But it has been an interesting. I tell you why, my vibes have shifted a little.
Interesting, because you started negatively a couple of days ago, in the sense that you're like you're picking up negative vibes around the Olympics.
I'm picking up great vibes now.
Okay,
but I'm also picking up a different vibe because my parents from Brisbane are staying with me.
Okay.
And that makes a different viewing experience.
Yes.
Now, Sam, you're telling all these beautiful stories about getting your young son up and like bonding over the Olympics.
Yep.
Similar with my 7-year-old parents. Slightly different, I would say, mostly because you get to hear what the commentators say and then get to hear my dad say it to me the exact same time. So I knew all about Cam McAvoy's, new regime because I immediately then got my dad going, yeah, so he does rock climbing. I'm like, I know. I know exactly where you know this. I heard it a minute ago.
Yeah.
And it is really beautiful. And it is nice because it really does solve that like age-old problem of what do you watch when your parents are visiting?
Yes.
Because it is a minefield trying to pick something to watch with your parents. I taught my parents how to use Netflix. And I think they think it's like a video game or an Olympic sport because they have watched everything on there.
Right.
They're so deep into the algorithm, I'm seeing shows I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
They were watching a show last time I was home and it was in a foreign language and it was all Afrikaans. And I was like, what is this? They're like, oh, it's an Afrikaans cop show. I'm like, is it any good? They go, picks up around season 4. So the Olympics has been a breath of fresh air. Just like, there you go, Dad. What can we watch? And he loves the windsurfing. He's a windsurfer himself, so he was excited.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Tough knock. Sort of bloke that wants to watch the he wants to watch the Sydney to Hobart on Boxing Day sort of operator, but God bless him.
Sure.
But it has been good. And it's been great having Mum sort of with the comments as well and the energies. When that wonderful walker won bronze,
Jemima,
thank you.
To a friend's, a friend's call that.
Once again, vibes, not facts.
Yeah, of course.
On this pod, on my section.
No.
Yeah, and Jemima, no, she won the bronze and her dad was getting interviewed. And then they go, and of course, Jemima's 4 years into a medicine degree. And my mum just sort of looked at me and went, her parents must be so proud of her. And I sort of ducked to the bathroom to have another hoon in secret of my double apple vape, really take the stress off. Yeah.
I'm on morning after Paris tomorrow.
Yeah. We've all got stuff going on. Don't worry, I've got a Vibe Watch segment on the Olympics, okay? So just relax.
I imagine them being from Brisbane, they'd be giving you insights about the, just the economics or the sort of structural engineering happening in the Olympic City.
Yeah.
As we move closer to in 8 years' time.
Yes. Yeah. So it's all happening out there.
Yeah. Traffic's good. Like roads being closed.
They're sort of into it. Yeah.
But what about I know with my experience,
they'll have some takes when it gets closer to. Oh my God.
Yeah.
With my parents, and I think others have this as well. Like your parents can sometimes surprise you. Like generally, kind, loving people who've reared you and raised you, and whose job it is biologically wired to encourage you and ensure your safety. But then all of a sudden, they might just come out with a line that is, quite abrasive or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I know you were saying off air that there was some views expressed about Susie O'Neill. You know
yeah. Every now and then you just get a random when just there's no reasoning I guess, I pick up vibes.
Yeah,
I've genetically got vibes.
Yeah.
And you can't pick a vibe. So every now and then, one of them will just come out with someone like, my mum just went, "Is that Susie O'Neill?" I'm like, "I think so." She's like, never got it. Nah, never.
nice.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, sure." You want to hear that. You want to hear a renegade take every now and then.
My mum has that with Princess Di.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's rare.
Yeah.
I like that. That's sort of courage, right?
More
It's
team-
like a contrarian on Princess Di.
Rare Team
Yeah.
Camilla
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I think it's more just like pro royal family gear.
Yeah.
Which is not a bit lost on our generation.
Yeah.
Sort of pro royal gear.
Yeah.
So
But sort of going like, Di she was a rabble rouser.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
mucking
right.
things
She
around.
she was rabble rousing.
Yeah.
Rousing the rabble.
Which
And what are her thoughts on Megan? To really get into vibe. Which sort of leads into watching, the Opals with my dad.
Yeah.
And who's to say who's about to make a shot? And you wait with bated breath when dad, and he goes, "She's good." You're like, "Oh, okay." That could have been anything.
Yeah, a lot of those conversations for me are like, are like
"Oh, she's got good, big arms, long arms." Okay,
she's
all
tall,
right,
isn't
that's
she?
good. All right, that could have been anything.
sort of like Trump questioning, Kamala Harris. Is like, has she always been black? She was Indian before, now she's black.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But besides the parent stuff, I tell you a vibe.
Yep.
A vibe I've been loving, boys, is all the shooting events.
Go on.
There are incredible energies and very diverse energies in these shooting events.
Yeah.
Now, don't come at me with what event was what. I'm just looking at highlights and going, that chick looks like she's from an anime, and that's awesome. And I
Different to an enema. That's a different thing.
Yes.
Thank you for
That's from my enema.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are some of the athletes in the 25-meter air pistol.
Yep.
And the hardware these girls have on, we're talking like square. I mean, Smith Optics needs to get into this stuff, guys. It is
I'm sure they
electric
are.
what
I'm
they're
sure
wearing.
they
probably are.
Sorry, they are.
Yeah.
Get them. They're unreal. You will shoot
Use a code
whoever you
fast.
want if you wear the Smith Optics shooting glasses. Get on the slanted roof with a pair of Smith Optics. You are laughing. And they look so cool. They're like effortlessly chill. They got all this kit on. It's just those ones as well.
Yeah.
just those.
Not a bad way to get a gold.
Yeah.
Just those
Bang.
ones. Bang. And then she sort of like flicked the glasses up, looked at the camera and gave a wink. And in that moment, around the world, you could hear millions of white guys with top knots and samurai swords committing seppuku in her honor. Sort of like a blood ritual to the Korean athlete that won. And I love that energy. Very cool, very like cyberpunk energies from the girls. And then I loved over in the men's side, the silver medalist from Turkey, the polar opposite energy.
Yep.
Just a 50-year-old bloke in glasses with his hand in a pair of tracksuit pants, unironed shirt, and just saying, bang, I guess. Silver medal. Why not? Just a little paunch as well. Just
bang.
Everyone else has got all the gear. He's like, why not? And everyone's saying he looks like Tom Cruise in Collateral. He's a Turkish assassin. I did see that he was in the Turkish army. But I would argue, yes, that is possibly all true, but never underestimate an old boy picking up a hobby.
Yes.
Late in life. The energy they will attack these new hobbies, much like my dad with windsurfing, when then he did break his arm doing it and that sort of stuff. But you know what I mean? Like they just pick it up and they go, I bloody love it, mate. I bloody love it. Yeah, one of my you know my mate Darren, mate. He's got a mate and he goes to the range. And he said, "We're going to the range." And I said, "Oh yeah. I'll give that a go." And I just picked up the bloody thing. I go, which way you point it? And then you just aim it, mate, and you just bang it. It turns out I have incredible breath control. And it's not rocket science, mate. You go, that's where I want it. I guess a silver medal will do. That's the energy. And that is what I love about the shooting. Because it's like you got old mates last night swimming through a literal river of shit to get a bronze. And old mates just bang, I'll take the same, thanks.
All of a sudden, Michael Darman's coming around for dinner.
Oh, That would be quite the story, I reckon.
Indeed.
If I remember Michael Diamond. Don't drive, mate.
Is he allowed
we'll
to
pick
do
you
that?
up.
Yeah.
I'll call an Uber, Michael. Don't you worry about it. Good to only remember athletes when they have a scandal.
That's right. Yeah.
And then an Aussie shout out in the trap. Penny Smith winning the bronze last night.
Penn.
And I when I heard trap, I was like, oh, I thought they'd all be called like Little Penny or Gucci Mane. They're shooting from the trap house. There is a bit of shooting at a trap house, so this is on point. But then, you love to see them clay pigeons burst. Oh. Very exhilarating. Sort of, gender reveals. Sort of has that energy. These four girls have got a lot of girls on the way because they're all pink and they're popping off a lot. So yeah, it's good vibes down range side.
Yep.
Yeah,
it'd be range side. I believe that's his.
So the shooting's what I'm getting good vibes from at the moment, boys. Well worth a look. Great energies. Wild energies out there.
Would you? Oh, what a vibe check, Hewy! And I'm feeling positive as a result of that. And thanks for your use of crystals and rubies and the other ways that you conjure your access to those vibes.
Yes, I've just sort of been hanging around a gas leak to get sort of mystic abilities as well. It's all maybe that's why I was
Footscray as well. Okay. Stick with us, Hewy. People want you to stick with us, and we do too for the remainder of this show. So Simone Biles, gold again. I feel like I wake up every morning, she's got gold with something. It's the women's all-around final. It's a
highlights package.
It's I don't what other superlatives remain. I
think she's good.
I think she's good at gymnastics.
Yep.
I did note, and look, give me some more detail on this and context, because I suppose it is important that I just was sort of walking out of the house to come in this morning, and I just caught that someone had given her a necklace with a goat on it. So she wears a necklace that, the goat is obviously the symbolism of greatest of all time.
Yep.
He's obviously embracing that. I mean, from an Australian point of view, and I'm sure there's a humble story behind that, but at the end of the day, you're wearing a goat on you. And she's probably entitled to do that.
Yeah.
But even so, as an Australian, you're like, oh, okay. You're not doing the deference and pretension of humility as an athlete, even if you are the greatest of all time. So
I expect that good one to Pendles this weekend. Same one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, when I watched Simone Biles overnight, she actually reminded me of Scott Pendlebury.
Just the way she goes about it.
Just the way she goes about it. And just the presence.
The presence.
Just the presence. Anyway. Simone Biles won. There's a woman on Instagram who is deaf and does lip reading. And so if you want, there's some adjacent and peripheral content, some shoulder content if you want. Find that deaf woman on Instagram who can read Simone Biles' lips.
Can we get her to do the Molly...
Great shout.
Because I think Molly said something similar to that voicemail Mark Gasnier left from State of Origin. Fire up, you said. Yeah. We got 4 hot girls ready to spurt absolute sauce in the drink. That's what I read. Yeah.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah. Something to think about.
I'll reach out to the deaf woman on Instagram. Okay.
Spurt hot sauce into the drink.
Well, that's what Gaz has said. That's what Gaz has said.
Look at a lot of things. Famous.
That's right. Fire up. Okay, in the tennis men's semi-finals have been decided. Novak Djokovic is going to face Lorenzo Musetti, and Carlos Alcaraz meets Felix Auger-Aliassime.
And Dan Evans and his brother out in the tennis, in the doubles.
Muzza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you later. Career over.
Okay.
What was the point of following that story and getting that wrong?
Yeah, indeed. There was a lot of interest in that story from a particular media demographic. Anything else happening around the world in the Olympics, guys, that's taken your eye?
The beach volleyball last night for the Australian girls against the Canadians. And someone on Patreon said I looked like one of the Canadian competitors.
You do attract a lot of lookalike comparisons.
Doppelganger stuff. And I was
one of the gals.
One of the Canadian girls. I think her name was Sophie...
Eccleston.
Sophie Eccleston. And it was like a Borovic or something like that. And I was like, okay, settled down. So then I went to Google and I was like, oh, no, I can actually see that one.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see that one, yeah. It was a confusing morning, if I'm honest.
I watched the first set. Love Taliqua and Marianne.
Yeah.
Because they're a great combo. You want to... Tall and little.
Yep.
Like tall fella, little fella, tall gal, short girl.
Yep,
Great
yep.
combo.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great energy out there.
Yeah.
I didn't make an
single
NBA
point.
jam.
Yep.
Out of beach volleyball. Just the dynamic duos. Okay, interesting.
Anyway, Australia won.
Australia won something. Okay, good. And in golf, struggling, I guess. I mean, you've got the bug these days. Here goes.
Yeah, that's right. So Minwoo Lee and Jason Day representing Australia. Minwoo Lee is second last with 5 over. Matsuyama from Japan is leading with 8 under. Xander Schauffele, who won gold in Tokyo, he is 6 under. He is second, outright second. He also has won the Open and he won the British Open. And what else did he win this year? He won the what did he win?
Just some events, mate.
He won another major.
Yep.
Looking forward to comments about that. Ryan Fox, the Australian. Now, people would say he's actually from New Zealand, and his dad actually played for the All Blacks in 1987, their first World Cup win. But
is that Grant Fox?
Yeah,
Grant Fox is one of the greats of New Zealand.
Yeah, so his son, Ryan Fox.
Incredible kicker.
In this instance, the Aussie, Ryan Fox.
Oh, yeah, Foxy.
Yeah, he's actually playing really well. He's 4 under. He's tied for 6th. Jason Day, 2 under, tied 21st. So there's 60...
Double bogey's the 18th.
Double bogey's the 18th. So that's going to hurt. But it's 72 holes in the competition. And
they do pairs as well, don't they?
I actually don't know how that works. But I feel like...
Schauffele and Scheffler from the US, pretty decent pairing, I would have thought.
There's also Morikawa and Wyndham Clark. Right. So there's actually four Yanks in it, but only 2 for everyone else due to qualification.
Minwoo Lee, though, and Jason Day, it's a good social presence.
It is a good social presence, yeah.
So something in that. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's what's happening around the world. Let's move on to boys, actually. Hewy, he goes, Pezza. Nick Holland says, boys, park your peepers on the highlight of the men's 50 freestyle and get a load of Cameron McAvoy hitting lots of good notes. So sort of forewarned this earlier. Revolutionising the event with a new regime. So I think that's your rock climbing, etc. Does mostly dry work to prepare. It's his 4th Olympics. Surprised himself with his time. American rival finished 6th. Something to build on, hopefully. A bit of a daddy's home kind of display. That's Cameron McAvoy tonight in the 50 free. Okay. Any reflections on Cam Mac that either of you want to share?
Good to see my dad's already sent an email in about what he heard last night on commentary.
Big Palmer writes in, boys, just FYI vis-a-vis Parmigiana cheese sponsorships. Of course, we mentioned this yesterday. The peak body is actually referred to in the industry as Big Palmer. Lots of shit going down in the industry if you have your eyes open. Signed, Woke Fromage.
Sheeple.
Brad just literally copy-pasted something, and I know that because it's got a black background and white lettering. And all it says is, Zach, Stubb let him cook. So
what if he swims again? I'm sure he's in for a relay or something like that.
Or an IM or something like that. Usually when you can do some of the funky strokes, you get involved in that kind of
breaststroke really is the walking of the pool, isn't it?
Interesting.
Well, it's like because I mean, racing generally speaking is who can get from here to here the quickest, in the quickest manner, and so walking makes no sense because like why would you choose to do that? But the word Olympic gives it some sort of gravitas. Yeah. So the breaststroke again is like, well, that's how you would swim in a swim up bar or in a hotel pool when you're trying to get some pancakes.
It has English energy.
Yeah.
Yes. The decorum tradition.
Yes.
This is the first way we did it.
Yes.
It's like
well said.
Just get an Aussie to bash your hands over. It's quicker, mate.
Yeah.
Australian crawl it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The way the head continually bobs up is very kitsch. It's just like a submarine periscope, just continually looking up, going, where am I going?
I'll tell you, it was a good breaststroker though. Leeswood Jones, couldn't she?
Leeswood Jones, very good, and that was the peak of that.
And the way she went about it, I thought that was there was a great energy to that.
Yeah, that was the peak of the format. Josh writes in with the subject matter Pan's lab work. So once again, this will be us reflecting the views of others for the sake of balance.
For balance,
this is
and integrity.
Unless it fires up the algorithm on YouTube or something. But boys, actually, I think you'll find you were mistaken in describing Pan's world record swim as insane. Well, he's saying Ian Thorpe's insane because that's what Thorpe said.
Yeah.
As a short form event, the 100-meter freestyle was actually in pool. The triathlon was insane.
Like a bit of wordplay there.
Yeah. And that's my dad writing in. The other major difference, of course, being that the Sen actually passed the test required for competition. Regards, Jezzy Boy.
Thanks, Jezzy Boy. I read from someone that they were commenting when they swam under one of the bridges during the triathlon. They said, I saw and felt some things you should not feel when swimming.
Oh, God.
That is fucking revolting.
Well, I think the Australian competitor said something like that she had like she ingested 10 liters of the swim of the sen while swimming. So that is isolation, I'd say. 10 liters though. How do you do that?
Get her out of the drink.
Boys actually gmail.com. Is that normal for a triathlon swim to get 10 liters down?
And
the
what you need
gullet?
to understand about the triathlon is that they actually usually drink 11 liters.
True.
Yeah, a couple of boys actually is coming in that the actualities that they're writing in about are incorrect. Like, you know, I'm not saying shoot for the king because we're certainly not kings, but if you're gonna get in and correct, please be correct. That's all I'm saying.
Some of the boys actually are just so wildly incorrect with a tone of, I can't believe how dumb you are.
Oh, it's definitely attracted that sect of person who just enjoys the smug snobbery of telling someone they're wrong, and you can see that it's actually an issue for them in their life. Being correct. That they'll like fucking red rag to a bull. I'm going to correct them on anything without even listening to what's going on. 95% of what's written in is very valid and picking us up on errors and error-strewn performance again. And we encourage that.
Shoffley won the PGA, by the way, I just remembered. PGA and the Open.
You've got a couple of golf mates listening that was important to you, I can tell. Yep. All right. That's all from boys, actually.
Hewy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, boys. What a treat.
And please stop writing in.
Yeah. And please stop knowing the amount about the Olympics that you do.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
And also,
I just want to say a quick thank you to the person that boys actually about me talking about Shadow Man. I did definitely think it was fact that they would be snorting ketamine.
Yeah.
So thank you for fact checking me on
it triggers so many people. Like, because that guy was a veterinarian.
Yes,
Just like, I just can't abide the idea that someone has said that a horse sniffs ketamine.
Yeah. So thank you for pulling me up on that.
Correction, and we all learn as a result of that.
Yes.
Also, when you said, boys, actually, Hewy, when you said that it's nice to be back, you've actually just been sleeping here for 3 days. Please move out.
They can't get me out.
And
This
take the
couch
mattress
is
with you.
Comfy little couch, this, boys. A little pull out.
Koala.com.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, as always, for joining us here on the morning after Paris. It's been a wonderful first week of action, working week of action, mostly in the pool. 8 goals for Australia.
Yeah. Someone give us a swimming table. If you've made it to the end of the show. I'm not seeing enough swimming tables.
Because the Yanks are still behind us, but because we've taken 1 gold in the we've taken 2 gold? One gold in from Grace Brown in the on the track.
Yeah.
On the road with the bike there. We want
Jess
another
Fox
gold.
got a couple.
Jess Fox got a couple, yes. Okay, so that makes it down to 5 gold in the pool. Fuck, it feels like
they've only
more.
got 2, I think.
They might have only got, okay, good. But someone give us, can someone actually write in and give us a table?
Not seeing enough swimming tables and Australia versus US stuff. Maybe the producers know that America's coming back in this.
I'll tell you what, NBC desperately need people to hang on for the track because they are skewing tables left, right, centre.
Yeah.
In terms of them being top of the Olympics and whatnot. Anyway, that's a rant that doesn't need to be said here, but thanks as always to you guys. Thanks to Shane Hill. Thanks to Hewy. Thanks Pezza. Thanks Higo. See you guys tomorrow. Cheers.